You're tuning into the Soil Conservation Connection. This podcast is brought to you by New South Development and Training, sponsored by the United States Department of Agriculture, and produced and broadcast by We Believe Digital Broadcasting. So just what is soil? What is soil conservation? And why should I care? Tune into the Soil Conservation Connection, Saturdays, 10 a.m. on We Believe Digital. Hi, and welcome back to the Soil Conservation Connection. I'm your host, Deidre Perry, and we are here to talk about all things soil conservation. I am so excited that you decided to join me this week. Last week we gave you an introduction of the Soil Conservation Connection and what we were striving to do, and that is to make each and every one of us an informed and excited participant of conserving our most valuable resource, one of our most valuable resources, and that is our soil. I want to start by saying that this podcast is brought to you by New South Development and Training. It is produced and published through We Believe Digital Broadcast Studios here in Jackson, Mississippi. And it is sponsored by the United States Department of Agriculture. We just want to tell them thank you each and every episode that they help us to do what we love to do, and that is to educate and inform people on how we can be conservationists. Now, on last week, we learned about why soil should be important to you. We learned what soil was. It is a mixture of organic materials and minerals, and that mixture of organic materials and organisms helps us to do a couple of things. I'm just going to play a recap from last week, which goes over what we learned about our soil. And here's our recap from our first introductory episode, Soil, It's Not Just Dirt. 3 reasons why you should personally care about soil. Number 1, we learned last week that soil enables us to have oxygen. Soil releases oxygen into our atmosphere, and we need oxygen to breathe. The second reason that we should value our soil is that it cleans and captures water. Healthy soils are critical for ensuring clean water, and that's for recreation, consumption, and environmental health. Our third reason is that soil is critical to the production of our food. It's critical because it provides essential nutrients, supports plant growth, and maintains water retention. These are just 3 of the reasons we learned last week why our soil is important, and we must know why it's important, what it is, in order for us to conserve it. I hope you enjoyed that recap. For those of you, if this is your first time watching and you didn't see last week, then that recap just gives you an idea of what we were learning, and that is that 3 personal reasons that we should all be concerned about soil and soil conservation is because it helps us to breathe. We need oxygen. It provides us water for consumption and other things, and it is critical to our food development. So those are just the 3 reasons why personally you should care about it, and I hope that recap was informative for everyone who missed last week's episode. This week we're going to be talking about how soil is formed, soil formation and how it is formed. If we're going to conserve it, we've got to know what it is and how it's produced, and we're going to talk about this right after we come after this commercial break. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break. I love Earthblend coffee. We want to make sure that you get an opportunity to try your own cup. You can head right on over to WeBelieveDigital.com, and there you will find a link where you can try some of the world's best coffee. Now, I stated that today we would be talking about how soil is formed, and I put together just a little brief video that will go through the 5 processes that help to form our critical resource known as soil. We're going to let you take a look at this video, and then we'll come right back. How our soil is formed. According to a recent article by Garrison Spacito, he's an editor of the Encyclopedia Britannica, soils evolve under the action of biological, climatic, geological, and topographic influences. The evolution of soils and their properties is called soil formation. And peatologists have identified 5 fundamental soil formation processes that influence soil properties. These 5 state factors are parent material, topography, climate, organisms, and time. Number 1, parent materials. Parent material is the initial state of the solid matter making up a soil. It can consist of consolidated rocks, and it can also include unconsolidated deposits such as river alluvium, lake or marine sediments, glacial tills, loess, which are silt-sized wind-deposited particles, volcanic ash, and organic matter such as accumulations in swamps or bogs. Number 2, topography is considered as a soil forming factor. It includes the following, which is a geological structural characteristics of elevation above mean sea level, aspect, which is the compass orientation of a landform, slope configuration, and that can be either convex or concave, and relative position on a slope, that is, from the toe to the summit. Topography influences the way that hydrological cycle affects earth material, principally with respect to runoff processes and evapotranspiration. Number 3, climate. Climate influences soil formation primarily through effects of water and solar energy. Water is a solvent in which chemical reactions take place in the soil, and it is essential to the life cycles of soil organisms. Water is also the principal medium for the erosive or percolative transport of solid particles. Number 4, organisms. The development of soils can be significantly affected by vegetation, animal inhabitants, and human populations. Any array of contiguous soils influenced by local flora and fauna is termed a biosequence. And number 5, last but definitely not least, is time. The soil forming factors of parent material and topography are largely site-related attributes of the terrain, whereas those of climate and organisms are largely flux-related inputs from its surroundings. Time as a soil forming factor is neither a property of the terrain nor a source of external stimulus. It is instead an abstract variable whose significance is solely as a marker of the evolution of soil characteristics. So while we're on our soil conservation journey, we must understand what soil is, how it is formed, and what we can do to keep it from eroding. Let's talk a little bit about soil erosion. Soil profiles are continuously disrupted by the actions of flowing water, wind, or ice, and by the force of gravity. These erosive processes remove soil particles from horizons and expose subsurface horizons to weathering, resulting in the loss of humus, plant nutrients, and beneficial soil organisms. This is what we want to rectify through soil conservation. And as we're taking this journey and you're learning more about it, you will be able to help conserve this very, very valuable element. So we learned that 5 factors which help to form our soil include parent materials, organisms, topography, climate, and time. On next week, we're going to go through some of the different types of soil series. There's over 14,000 soil series here in the United States. Right here in the great state of Mississippi, we have 7 that are native to us, and we're going to get into different soil types now that we know that it is formed. I hope you are learning so much on the Soil Conservation Connection. We also want to give you ideas on how you can start your soil conservation journey with our soil conservation tips of the week. Last week, our soil conservation tip of the week was composting, and we have a new tip for you right here. And here's our soil conservation tip for the week. Our second soil conservation tip of the week is reduce impervious surfaces. So for all of you homeowners, an impervious surface would be like a driveway or a patio, a surface that allows precipitation to flow freely over them. Water flow gains a lot of momentum when it's moving over such surfaces, and it enables that water to better erode stream banks and lake shores. A good compromise is to use paving stones rather than a concrete slab for your patio to allow the water to percolate down into the soil. And that is your conservation tip for the week. I hope you enjoyed that soil tip of the week. We thank you so much for joining us here at the Soil Conservation Connection. Next week, we're going to be talking still about soil and how it's not just dirt. We're going to actually have some live demos with the various types of soil that are native right here to Mississippi, to include histels, spodosols, vertisols, utasols, aliphosols, inceptisols, and entosols. We're going to be talking about those, and we're going to find a way to make it interesting because we want you to be excited about conserving our soil. Thank you for watching this episode of the Soil Conservation Connection. We look forward to talking with you again about all things soil next week. You're tuning into the Soil Conservation Connection. This podcast is brought to you by New South Development and Training, sponsored by the United States Department of Agriculture, and produced and broadcast by We Believe Digital Broadcasting. So just what is soil? What is soil conservation? And why should I care? Tune into the Soil Conservation Connection Saturdays, 10 a.m. on We Believe Digital.